Hi. For my topic, I've chosen to discuss crimes against humanity. Crimes against humanity is defined as a deliberate act, typically as part of a systematic campaign that causes human suffering or death on a large scale. For both my fiction and non-fiction books, these deliberate acts are centered at one group of people simply because of their race or religion. Initially, I wanted both of my books to be centered around World War II. However, when it came time to pick my fiction book, I decided to change this up a little. Let's start off with my non-fiction book. For my non-fiction book, I read Night by Elie Wiesel, which was written in 1956. The book discusses Ellie's experiences working and living in various Nazi concentration camps. One of these camps even included Auschwitz. Ellie and his family believed they were going to make it out safe as they could feel the war closing in. However, they were captured in 1944, just 1 year before the war ended. The book really shed light on the difficulties Jewish people faced during the Second World War. Wiesel writes about his disgust with humanity as his family are taken away because of their age or their gender. When they got to the first camp, they took away his mother and his sister because they were female and believed to be weak, and then later on, his father was taken away because of both his age and the fact that he was viewed as unfit to work. Ellie was allowed to live because he was a teenager and strong enough to do all the work the Nazis wanted him to. This book relates to my topic because of the lasting effect it had on readers. During World War II, Jewish people were killed because of the hate of one evil man. He even went as far as to force Jews in countries under Nazi control to be identified and wear yellow stars in public to ensure no German citizens showed them any sympathy or kindness. This book shows how everyone was killed, children, mothers, and fathers, and that humanity had been completely lost because this was all done deliberately. And if we were to look back at our definition of a crime against humanity, this definitely be considered one because of its large quantities of suffering and death, as well as the large scale these actions were done upon. Because just being Jewish was considered a crime during this time period, and we see in the novel numerous times, especially when Ellie is being beaten or forced to do an almost impossible amount of work in a day, because he knew if he didn't, he would be killed because he was considered to be breaking the rule by being Jewish. For my fiction book, I decided to read The Secret Life of Bees by Sue Monk Kidd. The book is set in 1964 and is about a young white girl named Lily and her black maid Rosaline. Lily lives in a house with her abusive father T-Ray until one day her and Rosaline ran away and ended up finding a new home. They moved in with a group of African American sisters and helped around their honey business at their house. During this time period, black people were meant to do nothing more than be servants to the white people. We saw this at the beginning of the book when Rosaline was beat up by a group of white men. However, later in the book, we see how these times are changing with the honey business and its success with both black and white buyers. This book reflects the crimes against humanity because it shows how people were treated during the 60s based solely on their skin color. These people were being constantly rejected from basic human rights and being publicly tormented just because one race believed they were superior to another. We learn how severe these crimes were as we watch how Rosaline is unfairly treated by the police because of her skin color. These crimes, although not always causing death, were likely to cause emotional scarring and suffering to the black people because of the hopelessness they felt. Yet another example of this in the book is when Rosaline tried to enter a church. However, the priest did not want her to come in because she was black and he believed black people were spawned by the devil. The worst part of all of this is how common this was. This was an everyday reality faced by millions of people during this time, making this a major crime against humanity.